Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com. Bringing another tie-in video today. Today I'm tying you a Micro Sculpin pattern. Very small style sculpin pattern, which we have a ton of in my area. We do get some big ones, but we have more little ones in the stream than big ones. So I wanted something to imitate that. And I stumbled across this video. Moonlit did a video on it. They call it their Midnight Sculpin. This is my twist on it. I do a couple things different in it, but it's pretty much the same kind of fly. But also in this, I want to do a little product review. Moonlit just happened to be at the Fly Tying Symposium this year, and one of the big things they had there was these pine squirrel zonkers from Moonlit Fly Fishing. These things are awesome. Here you can see one. They are the most evenly cut zonkers I've ever seen. These things are awesome. I can't say enough about them. They even have some mink too. The mink is, right now we carried in white and cream. They're supposed to have a couple new colors in the spring, so we're waiting to see what they are. But we decided to start carrying some of their products in the shop. You're gonna see some more things, some more videos coming from me featuring some Moonlit products. Really good stuff. I love their beads. We're gonna be carrying them here shortly, so pay attention, watch out for that. Really good, nice tight backs on their slotted beads. I'm really impressed with them. So really nice stuff from Moonlit. Pay attention, they're gonna have some nice stuff coming out from them, and you're gonna get to see me tying on some of it. Anyways guys, cool little pattern here. Tie some of them. I'm gonna add some extra weight to it. That's one thing I do different, because I want to nymph this. I want to be able to get this down on the bottom, bounce it off the bottom, and dead drift it if I want to. So have fun tying, guys. You need any of the materials like these pine squirrel zonkers. You can find them on our website at Holsinger's Fly Shop. But before you go looking for that, here's a picture of the fly and then the material list to tie it. Okay, here you see the Micro Sculpin in the vise. Pretty cool looking fly. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Firehole. This is an 811 size 6. And I like my barbless hooks, so we're going to use that. We're going to start out with some black Semperfli thread here, Nano silk. And this is 12 watt. Just start that on there in the middle. And then we're going to wrap it back towards the back here. And get it right back there to where the bend starts. Next thing I'm going to put on, this is just a brown saddle hackle. This is off of one of my dry fly hackles down at the very bottom. And I'm just going to pull the tips out, get in there a little bit longer fibers to where the fibers are about hook gap length, you see there. And cut the tip off so I can tie that down. I'm just going to tie that down right at the bend of the hook and set that off to the side. And the next thing we're going to do is put on some medium UV polar chenille. This is UV copper. And just going to tie that on there together with that hackle. And tie it right back to the bend again, and then just cover that up. Now, this next step here is optional. This is something I like to do because I like to fish a little bit heavier flies. I'm going to add some .025 lead here. And I'm just going to add about 8 or 10 wraps on here. And I want to keep it back away from the eye, about 2 eye lengths. And that's why I stopped my material here about halfway up, about a third of the way up. Then I put about a third of lead. And then I'm just going to cover that up to lock it in place. Get some wraps in front of it, go back over it a couple times just to get it locked in place there. It's just going to add a little bit of extra weight. If I want to nymph this, then I can nymph it. And I know it's going to get down for me. And of course I'm going to swing it. So just get that wrapped in there good. And then I'm going to bring my thread back up onto that lead. And I'm going to put these two materials together, my hackle and my UV polar chenille, and I'm going to palmer them up here. And as I go, I'm just going to keep stripping the fibers, try not to to wrap too many down, you're going to. We'll brush it out here in a second. That's fine. But just do your best to try to tease those fibers out in that UV polar chenille. And make side-by-side wraps until you get about halfway up through that lead. Then I'm going to tie that off. Like I said, I'm about halfway up through the lead there. I'm going to cut just my UV polar chenille off. And then I'm going to take my brush here, try to tease some of these fibers out that it got trapped. Make that a little bit buggier looking. Okay, then I'm going to take this hackle, get my thread back in front of it, and I'm just going to help make a little bit of a collar here with the remaining hackle. You could choose a different color here if you want. I'm just going to add a little bit of a collar there with that hackle that remains. Okay. Now, for a little bit of contrast in this fly, wrap just back up on top of that, just a hair. Make sure I have enough room for my head here as I go. For a little bit of contrast on this fly, I'm going to add some olive zonker strip here, which I cut off and put in my CDC, my Swiss clamp. I'm just going to make a dubbing loop. You've seen me make dubbing loops before. I'm using my Swiss multi-tool to do it. And just wrap my thread, make a loop here, put my material in it, and spin it out. So let me get my material in. Try to get them there, as you see, as close to the top as you can. Give that a good spin. And then I'll brush this dubbing out just a hair, make sure it's nice and buggy. And then make a couple wraps to make a collar here, just to give me a contrasting color with that olive. Whoops, sorry. Okay. Then we're going to tie this off. Make sure we get all this going back like we want it. I'm using the Nano silk here so I don't build up too much thread. Next thing I'm going to do is cut off about 1/2 inch strips of the zonker strip in the brown. And these are going to be the fins on this, the pectoral fins on a sculpin, which are rather prominent on a sculpin. I'm just going to tie one on each side, right on the very side of the hook. Get that tied on, and I'll tie my other one on the other side. And I tie it in right behind the eye. Oops, I twisted that one there a little bit. We're going to fix it. There we go. Now I need to put the back on this fly. To do the back, I'm going to switch my fly upside down here. Pull that down there where I want it. There we go. And then I'm going to put the back on it. For the back, I want to go about twice the length of the hook shank. And I want to measure, I'm going to set my piece up against it here. Let me do it on this side. And I want to see where the hook point is going to go through. So once I find that point, I'm just going to pop the hook point through the middle of the bottom. Whoops, missed it. Through the middle of the bottom of the leather there. And then I'll pop my hook out and slide it the rest of the way through and put it back in the vise. Then I'm just going to slide that leather right down on top of my fly and put this right over the back. Then I'm going to pull this leather strip up over the eye here, and we're going to tie it down right on top. Now you see I got extra out on the front. That's no biggie. Just going to come in and cut that off. And then we're going to create our head. Okay, there we go. You see we got the fly there looking good, multicolored. That's what we want to see, nice and modeled just like a sculpin. Now we're going to put the head on, which is a sculpin helmet. This is the mini sculpin helmet. And before I go whip finishing, I just want to test fit this. Make sure I can push it back as far as I need to. Like you can see there, I got the eye sticking out. That's perfect. So just going to come in and keep my whip finish small since I see how tight I am there. Keep my whip finish small. And then what you can do to help is take a pair of pliers and you can pinch that down a little bit. That'll help slide it on a little bit better. And then we're just going to take some super glue. I put a dab on the top and a dab on the bottom here. Having a rotary vise is nice because I can spin it around so it doesn't all ball up in the same place. There we go. We're going to push that eye on there. Push the head on there. Look out over the front. Make sure I got it straight where I want it. And then we're going to put the eyes on. Putting the eyes on, we're just going to use a little dab of super glue in each one. This is one of the pain in the butt parts. Don't get too much super glue in there. Don't get the super glue on top of your eyes. And then I just lay it on and slide it up over the hole there. These eyes don't always fit perfectly inside that little hole. So what I do is I take my whip finish tool, the little butt section of it. I can control a little bit better with that. When I get it where I want it, I press it in there as best I can. And then, like I said, these aren't going to stay in there. So what I like to do, I like to put a little extra thread, build a little thread dam here right behind the eye to help lock that head in place so it won't come off. And the other step I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some bone dry. And I'm going to cover those eyes up and cover this thread so it helps lock everything together. The bone dry will lock those eyes into place. Just cover them up completely. And hit a little bit on that thread. Just to make one solid piece covering everything up there. Glue that down. I'm going to add one more little coat just for security's sake. And we're done. There you see, cool little sculpin pattern. Tweak this where I need it here. Cool little sculpin pattern, very mottled in color, just like the real sculpin, and a very small pattern, which you know, there's a ton of small ones in the stream here in my area, so this works great for me. All right, guys, I hope you like that. I hope you check out these pine squirrel zonkers. They're really great if you like tying with zonkers and stuff like that. This stuff is really nice to work with. Nice even cuts. One thing I will say, they get in that bag and they get crushed. They are straight cut. It's not a cross cut. But when it gets crushed, the fibers lay over. Instead of standing straight up, being in the bag, they get pushed over to the side. So you do have to kind of tease them back to standing up straight again. So don't think that it's a cross cut. It's not. It's a straight cut. You just got to tease them a little bit, get them working back in the direction you want them, and they work fine for you. So have fun tying, guys. I'm always on, one of the big reasons why I do the tying shows is so I can be out there finding the new materials, and I'm really glad I found these, and you're gonna be seeing them used in other videos. So thanks for watching, guys. You need any of the materials, like always, please head over to our shop at holsingersflyshop.com. If you would like me to tie any of these for you, again, you can find them by reaching out to me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Sean Holsinger.